Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode 102 of the Orange Pill Investor. And today I want to talk about why I feel so confident saying that 50% returns selling covered calls is guaranteed. So while I don't give financial advice, this is just mathematically correct as far as I can tell, and I will explain why. When you're looking at the price of an options call, if it's in the money, meaning it's trading below the share price, assuming that you choose a strike price below the price that it's trading at, it's going to have some intrinsic value, which is the difference between the share price and the strike, and it's going to have some extrinsic value left over. So Robinhood is like glitching out or whatever the hell. But let's just assume that the price is $16.75 on Mara, and you're going to look at this 16.5 strike. You take 16.75 minus the 16.50, you get 25 cents of intrinsic value. Because if you exercise this call for 16.50, you could immediately sell it for 16.75, and you'd make 25 cents per share profit. If you choose a strike above, the share price has no intrinsic value whatsoever. So what's the leftover value? The leftover value is extrinsic value, and that's all time decay. It's this little value right here, theta. So every day, at this moment, 10 cents is draining out of this per day. Now, this is only 5 days away. So 10 cents is going to drain out on one of those days, and then of the 75 cents of intrinsic value here, there'll be 65 left. And then at some point, though, this has to accelerate. And once the time is gone, then all of the theta that can decay out of it, all the extrinsic value has to go bye-bye. It all has to disappear by expiration. And that's why if I flip this to sell, and I choose, like this one, I chose the 18 strike. So the difference between, I'm just going to call this actually $17 in a share, just for math sake. But so there's no intrinsic value. So this 50 cents approximately all has to drain out by Friday, which means if you hold this through Friday, it doesn't matter if Mara stays at 17 a share, drops to 15 a share, goes to 25 a share. This 50 cents must decay out of the option by expiration. That is why when you get paid this 50 cents, it's 48, but 50 cents times 100, you get paid $50. That money, if you hold this till expiration, all of that extrinsic value must go to you. That cannot be avoided. There's no way to get around it. And so this is booking guaranteed returns. And generally, I shoot for at least 1%. So, I could go all the way up here to the 20 strike and collect 1%. I think I collected like 3 or 4% on the 18 strike. Yeah, right around 3%. So if I get 3% every week, that's 150% for the year. It's not always easy to get 3%, but these Bitcoin mining stocks, and I bang the drum on Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and selling covered calls. if you could probably just listen to one of my videos, and if I talked about all three of those, that's the same shit you're going to hear every other video. But, you know, hopefully I put a little bit of a different spin on it. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So if you already grok Bitcoin, okay, great. If you do, you probably, yeah, you may or may not grok MicroStrategy. But even people who are not in the Bitcoin space, you know, may not be involved in selling or, you know, trading options at all. But this is what I do basically for a living. I'm looking to become work optional and jettison this 9 to 5. So that's really it. So now there's a trade-off. I think, was it Thomas Sowell said there's no solutions, only trade-offs. So you are trading upside, and you can even see that I traded a bunch of upside, and I'm probably upside down on this like $1 already, so $100. So I cannot profit on this covered call over $16 a share. So this is like $16.75, almost $17 an hour, or $17 an hour, $17. So I took my little $40 up front in order to sacrifice unlimited upside. But I've never really needed to capture unlimited upside. It's always been, you know, something like this. If this goes upside down on me, $1, $2, $3, okay, a couple $100. I still profited. I think Mara was like 14.5. So I still profited from 14.5 to 16. Still made $150. If I don't make this other $100, it's really no big shakes. And the way that I look at it, you know, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So I'm booking guaranteed profits, and I don't have the slightest idea what Mara is going to do next week. Mara could be $12 next week. It could still be 16. It could be 20. But for me, I'd rather book 1-3% profits for the week and let those aggregate week after week after week. 1% a week for 52 weeks is 52% guaranteed returns. Collect 2%, it's 104% guaranteed returns. You're basically doubling your money every year. 3%, 150% returns. So the only thing that does scare me a little bit is MicroStrategy with these, because the upside potential is so huge. I mean, when the price went from 600 to like, you know, a week later, and it basically doubled, and you're only baking 10-20% call away in there, you're going to lose out on 80%, 80-90% of that, you know, that move upward. Which is why I always carry some shares long. So if I want to sell a covered call against MicroStrategy, I might keep 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 shares long that do have unlimited upside. So you can customize the strategy any way you want. Not everybody can afford, you know, tons of MicroStrategy, but let's go back to the Mara example. If you had 1,000 shares of Mara, I'm not recommending you do, but if you did, you could, you know, that would cost you $20,000, right? You could sell 10 covered calls, and you'd be limited upside on all of them. Or you could sell 9 covered calls, collect premium on 9 out of the 10, and have 100 shares with unlimited upside. So in any case, it's simple math, really. I'm not making any extravagant claims by saying 52% guaranteed returns a year. because as long as you just go ahead and sell a covered call, getting you at least 1% of the current share price, which right now it looks like it would be the 20.5 strike, then you're booking 1% profit right here, or maybe the 20. You're booking 1% profit, and if you're willing to sacrifice any upside over 20 bucks. Now you may not, because Mara can move, Bitcoin moves, Mara can move, and I think there's something happening right now with the transaction fees, and I don't know if it's these runes people that are fucking everything up, but right now the transaction fees are like more than the Bitcoin reward. So whatever FUD was going on with miners before the halving, like they're not going to be making as much money after the halving. Right now they're making hand over fist, and I think that will probably equilibrate and it will probably calm down a bit. But any fear, uncertainty, and doubt around miners profiting after the halving, I think, has been satisfied. That does not seem to be happening. All right, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Is these options prices have, if they're in the money, they've got intrinsic and extrinsic value, but we are selling covered calls out of the money. They have no intrinsic value. Every penny of this is, they have no intrinsic value. Every penny of it is extrinsic, and it must go to zero by expiration. So if you sell this, and if you keep it until expiration, you get 100% of this money. And really, when you get paid, the $50, it goes into your buying power. So I mean, you could spend it immediately, and that's exactly what I do. I'll go and buy more shares of this stock. Right now, I'm a little partial to MicroStrategy, so if I sold this for $50, I would just go and buy fractional shares of MicroStrategy. I think I've got like 0.7 shares or something like that of MicroStrategy in this small account. So I'm basically using MicroStrategy as my store of value instead of keeping cash buying power. This is, I've got very little buying power available here, just enough that I hope I don't get a margin call. So that's it. That's how I can use the strong language about selling covered calls, booking what to me, compared to the buy and hold folks who are just holding like SPY and getting 7% a year on average, getting 52% a year. I think Trump's getting 7% a year. SPY might have been doing better over the last few years, but you got to look at their down years as well. And like I said, and this guaranteed profit doesn't even include any appreciation in the price of the stock, because you can, whatever call-away value you build in, the difference between the share price and the covered call strike, that's all potential profit as well. And so, I booked probably 10% call away on this 16, and then I bought 100 shares later, and built in probably another 10% here. So that's it. You sell a covered call, you get paid, you hold that till expiration. There's no way to not book the profits. Now, if the price goes over your strike, there's a way to not participate in the entire, unlimited upside, but that's the trade-off. So that's it for now, and all right, be good, y'all.